Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD. In today's video, we're going to actually take a different approach and we're going to actually provide feedback for BO4 because I really think that there's things that need to change to make the game a lot better. And I actually have two different objectives. One is to start a discussion in the comments section on your guys' personal feelings and how they relate to what I'm going to say in this video. And the second objective is to provide some constructive criticism about the game in a way that hopefully the developers will at some point see this video and maybe adopt some of these ideas. Just a quick reminder as we jump into the content, please remember to hit that like button if you do enjoy any part of the video. And if you're a part of that 80% that continue to watch my videos on a regular basis and haven't yet subscribed, please remember to hit that subscribe button with notifications on so you can find your way back to the channel. So I've pretty much gone ahead and combined all my thoughts into 5 different categories. And the first one we'll go ahead and talk about, and in no particular order, is going to be the UI overhaul. And if you guys aren't exactly sure what that is the actual menu system. I don't know if you guys have played any other Call of Duties. I'm sure most of you have. And what you'll notice is when you compare the different Call of Duties to Black Ops 4 is their menu system is pretty messed up. It's not very functional, it's very hard to navigate, and it can be very confusing for a brand new player. And I know this because I've had a lot of people come to my comment section since the game launched, confused about how to do those headquarters missions where you can do the specialist training or whatever the case is, how to access custom games, how to actually get out of the featured playlist and play team deathmatch or domination. There's a lot of confusion around this, and it has to do with the way they've set it up. It becomes very confusing, and I think that's why the menus lag so much. In a recent update, they claim that they fixed the issue when you're trying to create a class towards the last 10 seconds of a lobby, and I don't think this is true. I've played plenty today in the past couple days, and I've had the same issue. If you go ahead and adjust your create a class in those last 10 seconds, the game is going to start lagging, which makes it so you cannot actually create your class that you're trying to create. So I think that's a side effect of the UI they've decided to go with. And I don't know what it would take to overhaul the UI, but at the end of the day, pretty much every Call of Duty exception of maybe World War II had these very simplistic menus that you could just navigate through very easily. And the second thing I'm going to go ahead and talk about that really needs to change is an adjustment to the black market. There's actually several different changes that I think they can make with this black market, but 3 that I'm going to focus on are that there should be more camos in the supply stream. And it's been pretty consistent when you look back at all the different items that have been in the BO4 Battle Pass. Less than 10% of the items have actually been weapon cosmetics. So that's camos, reactive camos, mastercraft variants, regular variants, MK2 variants, and of course DLC weapons. So my suggestion is for them to just add more. Get rid of some of the stickers. We had the same issue in World War II with all the pistol grips. They kind of removed that and they added more emblems, calling cards, or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, those are things you can actually see on a regular basis. But stickers, I don't really think anyone's using. Sprays, no one's using. Emotes, people aren't using. Because you put yourself at a significant disadvantage, you're going to use any of those things. The second adjustment I'd have to the black market is reevaluating how the reserve system works, because right now you get a ton of duplicates and there is the exact same camo for pretty much all the weapons. So you're going to end up getting the exact same item 25 plus different ways, which I think is kind of unfair. They should have just put the one camo in there, or maybe even do it like some of the other Call of Duties did it, where you get the one camo for LMGs or snipers. But this one is literally for each of the weapons, which is basically the definition of filler. So the third suggestion I have for the black market, which I think would actually make them a lot more money, is to readjust how they're selling Mastercraft and reactive camos. Right now you can get Mastercraft camos. They're usually about 10, 12 bucks in a bundle, and then you get the reactive camos, which are about $6 or $8. And I understand that there's supposed to be a higher value with Mastercraft variants, but at the end of the day, you're only able to use those on one specific weapon, versus the reactive camos can be shared across every single weapon you have in the game. And the only exception to that is the melee weapons. For whatever reason, you're not able to equip reactive camos to the melee weapons, so they definitely need to fix that part too. But the part that I really wanted to focus on is that they should create bundles that include a regular camo, a reactive camo, and then a Mastercraft variant. So how this would work is, let's say you go in there and you want that Mastercraft variant for the swordfish like they just gave out. Then you'd have a reactive camo that would be unlocked by using the swordfish variant, and then they'd throw in an extra camo just because. So they could keep that bundle somewhere around 1,000 COD points, which I think is completely fair for what you get. And then when you buy the bundle, you'd be able to get it for the specific weapon. You'd be able to get a reactive camo that could be used on every weapon that you completed the gold challenges for. And then you'd have a third item, which would be a camo that could be equipped to any weapon, regardless of the challenges completed. Personally, I think those would sell significantly better than the bundles they currently have, because there's a lot of value in there that you feel like you're actually getting, versus buying a skin that you're never going to see or a bunch of other items that you're never going to use. I think I'm going to leave it with those 3 points for the black market. Obviously, I could probably make an entire video on the black market alone, but let's go ahead and jump into the next category, which is the grind factor. So there's actually a lot of areas that I can talk about with this. The first suggestion I have is to add more challenges, and these are daily challenges, weekly challenges, or even community challenge beyond the regular calling card challenges. So there's 2 actual parts that we'd have to figure out when it comes to these challenges. How would you get them, and then what would be the reward? So there's actually 2 different routes they could go, with the first one being is they're completely free. Every day you log in, you're going to have access to these specific challenges. The second is they'd have to create an in-game currency that you can acquire over time and use that currency to buy more challenges. So regardless of the route they go, the reward should be very similar to how World War II did it. You can get a specific weapon variant. In this case, maybe you get a weapon camo, or you just get a ton of reserves. So in World War II, I know that if I played about 45 minutes to an hour, I could walk away with about 9 supply drops. And each of those supply drops came with 3 items. So it was a total of 27 items. So just let that sink in for a little bit. You'd play about an hour of World War II and you'd end up with 27 items. You play about an hour of Black Ops 4 and you end up with about 3. That is a big difference. That's pretty much what I'll mention on that. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and talk about is leaderboards and a proper combat record. These are staples of Call of Duty, and little by little they've slowly removed information we've had over the years. Personally, I've never been a leaderboard grinder, but I always liked all the things that you had with a complete and proper combat record. I could see my win percentage in every different mode. I could see which weapons I had the highest KD with, which ones I used most often. There was a lot of data there that has been slowly stripped away year over year. I don't know if it's something they'll ever add in the game, but personally, I had a lot of motivation from looking at those on a regular basis, continually trying to improve my score per minute, my KD, maybe improving a specific weapon, getting them all over 2.0 KDs or whatever the case is. I'm a very analytic person, and considering that my channel is mainly about improving at Call of Duty, all this extra information is stuff that can help and go a long way. So another thing that they seem to have completely avoided is hero gear. If you guys played Black Ops 3, you'll know that if you do special challenges with each of the specialists, you'll unlock a special kind of dark matter for your actual character skin. Infinite Warfare was an example of them adding this in months after the game released, so I know it's definitely possible to add it into Black Ops 4. And even though there's a large percentage of the player base that will never actually go for this, the benefit of this is you can actually have some diversity in specialists. Currently right now, all I ever choose for 90% of my matches is Crash. Personally, I think he's a top tier specialist, and I have no other reason to try out any of the other ones. I've used them. I've used Ruin, Recon, whatever the case is, but I prefer Crash, so I always choose Crash. But if I had to do challenges with Ruin, guess what? I'd probably be using Ruin to try and complete those challenges. And the last part about grind factor is prestige rewards. They're just not enough. And this is one of those things that's pretty bizarre to me. I think it's one of those things that is really easy to get right. There should be a situation where there's almost too many rewards for actually leveling up and progressing, because it takes a very long time to reach level 1000. At the end of the day, all you really get is a couple created classes when you reach Master Prestige, a few calling cards, and then the ability to change your rank icon. Other than that, there's not really much to grind for. Personally, I don't really care about those things, but if maybe I got a special weapon camo or maybe a special character skin, I'd be happy with some of those types of things, but they don't even have that. And I think all of these suggestions are very reasonable. Adding challenges, leaderboards, hero gear, and prestige rewards would definitely increase that grind factor for a lot of players. The next suggestion I have is actually a short and simple one, and that is to have a disable DLC button. And this is actually something people have been asking for years. In case you guys didn't know, Modern Warfare 3 was the only Call of Duty to ever have this function, and I'm not sure exactly why they never decided to make that a standard function in Call of Duties going forward. One of the things that brought this to the front of my mind is the fact that we had a free DLC weekend to everyone that owns the game. So for those of you that played during that free DLC weekend and also have the Black Ops Pass, you guys probably noticed that the lobbies were all full. They loaded in faster, someone left, they filled back up a lot quicker, and that is not by mistake. Literally all the players are on the exact same player base and are being connected based off connection. Versus when you have the DLC maps, you're going to be in a smaller pool of people that only own the DLC map, and that connection is noticeably worse. So one thing that would actually fix this altogether is to make all DLC free. It's a little late for Black Ops 4. Hopefully the new game, whatever it is, hopefully it's Modern Warfare 4, they will go with a free DLC business model. Now we'll get into the biggest change, which is the actual gameplay changes. There's several different things that I think they could do to the game to make it much more enjoyable to play. But one of the first changes I think they can make is to either remove body armor or allow all weapons to have FMJ. And the main reason for this is because Call of Duty generally has things to counter other things in the game. So whether it's Ghost countering a UAV or stopping power countering Juggernaut, if they decide to put something in the game, it typically has a counter. Body armor does not have that for every weapon. And I know they went with a different approach when it comes to attachments, but FMJ needs to be a mandatory attachment that is available to all weapons. So then at least you would have the choice to equip that attachment if you run into a lobby where people are running body armor. And the next gameplay change that I don't think will ever happen in Black Ops 4 is that they need to add a VSAT Blackbird hater type of streak. Usually better players are the ones advocating for this because it allows you to actually go for those nuclear streaks. Obviously specialists can get in the way, but typically you're going to run that UAV, counter UAV, and then the hater, and that'll allow you to cycle your streaks, especially if you're going to play in free-for-all. That allows you to cycle all 3 streaks. There is not a third non-lethal streak in the game that'll allow you to cycle your streaks that much faster. All you have to rely on is the UAV and the counter UAV, and in this game they're not very good. So let's go ahead and talk about the third change that I think needs to happen in Black Ops 4, and all I really got to say is, where are the operator mods? And there's actually 2 parts to the operator mod thing. One is they really made it difficult for people to equip. It should just be in the attachment section. When you click on the attachment, it should automatically click on the wild card and allow you to equip it the way it does Primary Gunfighter 1 and 2. But that's a different story. The thing I want to focus on when it comes to operator mods is, where are all the operator mods? Why haven't they added any new operator mods into the game? The game launched with 18. We're halfway through the game's life cycle. We still have 18. They've never adapted or added anything to the game as far as operator mods go. I really thought they would use the operator mods as a way to implement DLC weapons into the game, in addition to the DLC weapons that they add over time. So an example of this is when they added the Damon 3XB to the game, they should have had a full auto operator mod that allowed you to equip that and the gun would be full auto. Doesn't mean the operator mod needed to be great, but when they introduced the Damon 3XB, we would have actually got 2 versions of the weapon. For the Cap 45, they could have gone and added an operator mod that made it akimbo the same way the SOG 9mm are. Obviously, they could have gone a different route, but I think you get what I'm saying. So another gameplay related change that I think needs to happen is related to specialists. And there's actually 3 different things I want to talk about. The first thing, which has already been confirmed, is there needs to be a no specialist playlist, and it needs to be permanent. It needs to always be in the game, not something that they give us and take away. So the next thing I would change about specialists is how they earn their special ability. It is currently earned through score and time. Personally, I think they need to remove the entire time portion and make it based 100% on score. I know it's a little bit more controversial, but personally that's the way I think it should work. And the third thing that I think they could do with specialists is make it so all modes are 6v6. It was originally changed to 5 versus 5 to more mimic the competitive Call of Duty scene, but now that we have league play, I think it just makes sense to switch it back to 6 versus 6. Let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree. If you enjoyed the video in any way, please remember to hit that like button, and if you want to come back to my channel so you can improve at Call of Duty, make sure you do subscribe with notifications on. Appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.